I have a question for you. Why is it that some developers struggle to sell full stack projects for $500 while others, often with less manual coding skill, are closing contracts for $10,000? Is it luck? Is it better sales tactics? Nah. Look at the engine on your screen. This is the secret. If you're still quoting clients based on how many hours you type or how many lines of code that you write, you've already lost. You're selling a commodity that AI is driving to $0. The person commanding a $10,000 architect's rate isn't selling code, they're selling a business engine. If we haven't met, I'm Lamont Evans, a systems architect and the founder of the School of Freelancer Freedom. I've spent over 20 years in the freelance trenches, and now I help other freelancers escape the technician's trap to build $10,000 automated business engines using the STAR method. The AI reckoning is here. Data shows a 21% decline in manual coding jobs, while demand for AI automation is up 136%. You're either building the machine or you're being replaced by it. The housekeeping rules that we have for our community are as follows. 1. Stop bidding. We don't chase gigs, we architect assets. 2. Respect the stack. We use a mandated tech stack that allows us to move at 10 times the speed. And 3. No side hustles. We build professional infrastructure, not hobbies. So if you're ready to operate as an agency of one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. In this video, we're going to perform a forensic audit on a high-ticket scope. I'm going to show you exactly why clients pay 20 times more for engines than they do for tasks and how you can make the shift today. This is the scope analysis for the systems architect. Let's open the hood. I want you to look at the graphic closely because it explains exactly why your bank account might be stuck. We're witnessing the great freelance split. On the left, in red, this is where the technician lives. This is commodity hell. If you're waking up, checking your Upwork, bidding on tasks, and then manually coding it yourself, you're here. It's reactive, it's chaotic, and here is the damning data that nobody talks about. 70% of freelancers on these platforms earn less than $100 a month. You're all fighting a war against global talent and AI speed, and you're losing. Now look at the right. This is the architect. While manual coding demand drops, demand for AI automation has surged 136%. The architect doesn't sell the task of writing code, they sell the outcome of running a system. The difference between poverty and $10,000 contracts isn't skill, it's which side of the line you're standing on. So how do we cross the gap? Here's the secret that separates the broke technician from the wealthy architect. Technicians try to sell the tool while architects sell the result. On the screen are the only 5 software products you should be building in 2026. These are 5 vibe coding business engines, but I want you to look closer because here's the trick. These engines are almost always dressed up as something else. When you look at engine number 1, the autonomous voice agent, the technician tries to sell an AI bot, and the client says no. The architect dresses this up as a 24/7 lead capture protocol. The client buys it because they're tired of missing calls after 5 p.m. Look at engine number 2, the automated sales engine. The technician tries to sell a CRM setup. The architect dresses this up as a revenue machine. You're not selling a database, you're selling a system that nurtures leads while the business owner sleeps. Engine number 3, the Reskilling Dojo. To you, it's a learning platform. To the client, it is corporate insurance against their team becoming obsolete in the AI era. Engine number 4, content machines. You're not selling video editing, you're selling omnipresence. And engine number 5, enterprise proto SaaS. This is where you take any of the previous engines, wrap a custom dashboard around them, and sell it as proprietary software. The lesson is simple. The engine is what you build. The dressed up solution is what they buy. High value equals high ROI. If you can't articulate the ROI, you're just writing code. I want to show you the exact math that justifies a $10,000 invoice. We call this the $40,000 problem. Look at the left side. This is the old way. A business hires a human receptionist. That receptionist costs $40,000 a year in salary, taxes, and benefits. But here's the complication. The human only works from 9 to 5. They get sick. They take lunch breaks. And every time they step away, the business loses money on missed leads. Now look at the right side. This is the architect's way. You're not selling a chatbot, you're selling an AI voice agent. Your price, $10,000 for the setup and $1,500 a month for hosting. To a technician, charging $10,000 seems impossible. But to the business owner, this is simple math. You're replacing a chaotic $40,000 liability with a perfect 24/7 asset that costs less than half the price. This is the pitch found at the bottom of the screen, and it's the only script that you need. I'm not an expense. I'm a 50% discount on your operational costs. When you frame your code as savings, the budget is always approved. Here's the hard truth. Nobody wakes up in the morning decided to buy a CRM. If you're trying to sell go high level setups or database configurations, you're selling homework. That's why you're stuck charging $500. Now look at the diagram. This is project number 2, the CLOSE pipeline, the close pipeline. Technically, yes, inside the mechanical box is go high level, but an architect never sells the box. They sell what the box does. To the client, this isn't software, it's a revenue machine. It takes their chaotic input, social media, digital ads, and forces them through an automated cycle with capture, nurture, and conversions. The AI handles the nurturing and the system handles the follow-up. The result is 500 plus qualified opportunities a month without the business owner even lifting a finger. So here's the shift. The technician says, I'll set up your software. The client hears an expense. The architect says, I'll install a machine that generates 500 leads while you sleep. The client hears profit. That's how you turn a $97 per month tool into a $10,000 asset. Here's where 90% of freelancers lose money. A client calls you and says, I have an idea. I want an Uber for dog walkers. The technician gets excited. They say, cool, I could build that. And they start coding without a plan. And then 2 weeks later, the scope has exploded and they're working for free. The architect never guesses the architect diagnosis. On the screen is the prototype framework. This is the exact script that I use to turn a 60-minute chat into a billable consultation fee. Problem, requirements, outcomes, target users, operations, timeline, your references, prioritization, and execution. You walk the client through this wheel and you ask the hard questions. By the time you finish this list, you haven't just taken notes. You've proven that you're an expert in the room, and you tell them that I don't build until we have a blueprint. This framework turns their vague confusion into a billable scope. So stop pulling prices out of thin air. The number one reason freelancers are broke is because they quote based on fear. They ask, what can a client afford, instead of asking, what does this actually cost? The architect uses math, not emotion. We use the BUILD checklist, the build checklist. Look at the screen. This is the formula for a $10,000 invoice. The B and U, browser and user logic, that's your front end and back end. The technician usually stops there. They charge for the coding and send the bill. This is why they're broke. The architect adds the bottom three. I is for infrastructure. You charge for the security, the cloud setup, and the hosting architecture. L is for labor and risk. If you're using a new AI model that might hallucinate, that's a risk factor. You charge a premium for navigating that uncertainty. D is for delivery buffer. You always add 30% on top. Why? Because APIs change and things break. When you add the risk and the buffer to the code, a $3,000 project mathematically becomes a $10,000 scope. And the client pays it not because you tricked them, but because you're the only one who accounted for the reality of the build. You might be asking, Lamont, how do I build a $10,000 engine if I'm just one person? Don't I need a team? The answer is no. You need a mandated stack. This is our FITS protocol, and it's a secret weapon of every systems architect. If you're stitching together random tools for every new client, you're creating liabilities. We use this specific combination to automate 80% of the manual labor. Cursor and anti-gravity at the top. This is your AI development core. It allows you to code 10 times faster than the manual developer. Go high level on the right. This handles all the CRM and automation logic, so you don't have to build it from scratch. Supabase and Vercel on the bottom. This is your enterprise infrastructure. And then Notion on the left. This is your operating system. When you lock in this stack, you stop being a freelancer and you become an agency of one. You can deliver agency grade quality in 2 weeks while the technicians are still debugging their environment setup. I'm going to tell you something that might hurt your ego, but it will fill up your bank account. Clients do not care about your code. They don't care how elegant your Python functions are. They care about one thing: risk mitigation. Look at the screen. This is what you're actually selling when you send a $10,000 invoice. It's called certainty of outcome. Why does a client choose an agency over a freelancer? Because the freelancer represents chaos while the agency represents safety. To become an architect, you got to display these 3 signals. One is the shield. It's institutional credibility. You're not just a guy or a girl. You're a business entity with legal contract. Number 2, the flow chart. Documented processes. You don't figure it out. You actually follow a mandate. And 3, the target. Clarity of outcome. You don't sell hours, you sell a guaranteed result. The quote at the bottom is the golden rule for the high-ticket freelancer. Reliability is more profitable than raw coding talent. If you can prove that you're safe, you can charge whatever you want. I want to address the biggest fear that everyone has about high-ticket sales. It's the feast or famine cycle. You sell a $10,000 project today and you feel rich, but next month, if you have 0 leads, you feel broke. The technician eats what they kill. The architect builds a floor. Look at the screen. This is the auto loop, the AUTO loop. It's designed to generate RPM, which is reliable, predictive monthly income. So here's the rule. You never just hand over the keys to the engine, you become the garage. When you finish the project delivery, you immediately transition the client into an automated hosting plan. You charge them $250 a month, not for new work, but for maintaining the infrastructure. You own the API keys, you own the Twilio account, you own the database. To the client, this is peace of mind. They don't want to manage the tech. To you, this is a $3,000 a year annuity attached to every single project. When you stack 10 of these clients, your baseline income is around $2,500 a month before you even open up your laptop. This is how you stop hunting and start farming. I want you to burn this image into your mind because it explains exactly why being good at coding is keeping you poor. On the left is a technician's hamster wheel. This is the trap. You write every line of code from scratch. You debug for weeks. You pour 3 months of your life into custom builds, and the reward is just a $2,000 check plus burnout. Now look at the right side. This is the architect. They're lifting 5 times the revenue, which is $10,000, but they're not working harder. They're using a lever, and that lever is the STAR method. The architect doesn't write code for 3 months. They assemble for 2 weeks. They use the mandated stack, they use pre-built engines, and they use templates. They deliver agency-grade quality in a fraction of the time. The lesson is simple. Wealth is not a product of effort, it's a product of velocity. If you're tired of running on the wheel, it's time to grab the lever. We've reached the end of the audit, and you now have the math. You have the scope. You see exactly how $10,000 invoice is constructed. So look at the compass on the screen. This is your true north. You have a choice to make right now. You can go back to the old way, bidding on $500 gigs, competing with everyone else, and stand on a technician's hamster wheel. Or you can upgrade your business and normalize the $10,000 standard. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building, the door is open. Click the link in the description to join the School of Freelancer Freedom. We don't just teach you how to code, we give you the blueprints, the contracts, and the mandated stack to build your agency of one. I'm Lamont Evans. Stop building, start architecting, and I'll see you on the inside.